Hey, good day, folks. This is Andrew from Andrew's Life, coming at you from Shady Side Park here in Anderson, Indiana. I welcome you guys to another video. No more views of the beautiful lakesides as you guys got in the UP, but I still got some other views for you guys. I done. Yeah. Yeah, I still got some other views for you guys as we continue to walk. I'm trying to, just like on the last video that I made when I was here in Indiana, I try to stay out of people's way. People that are truly trying to get their exercise in. I want to be respectful and courteous. But anyways, we're going to be talking about rent today. I'm going to give you guys 3 scenarios, and then I'm going to tell you guys which scenario that I would go. And bear in mind, these 3 scenarios are going to be based off of the cost of living in states similar to Indiana and states similar to many parts of the South. So just bear that in mind. Now the question is, would you rent? Now, well, matter of fact, I'm gonna give you guys a scenario. Let me ask you: would you guys rent? Would you purchase, or would you become a full-time nomad? I'm pretty sure many of you have got your answers already made up. You're ready to type, but I urge you to not type until you watch the video, because I got some context to add to those questions. And this video is also for people who don't earn a lot of money. So for those of you that are working, let's say you're working at the factory, you're working some type of a job to where, your money might be okay, but it's not the best. You might bring home maybe $3,000-ish a month. So for those of you that bring home money like that, the video is for you. So with that being said, let's talk about rents. Now here in Anderson, Indiana, I would say on the low end, depending on who your landlord is, and probably depending on how big the house is, or rather you're going to be renting out a house or an apartment, your rent prices here in Anderson are going to typically run from, I want to say, from $650 up to $1,000 a month, and that is going to be on the low end. Those numbers I just gave you are going to be the prices of which you will pay per month for rent, most likely in the hood. I'm going to just say it straight up. Now I got a couple of friends that live here in Anderson, and they're landlords, small-time landlords, and they told me that they charge their tenants $800 a month for rent. And these houses that they rent out are smaller houses. The square footage of these houses are less than 1,000 square feet. They're 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, and they rent them out for $800 a month. So let's say you're like me, you're single, you're by yourself, and you choose to move to a city similar to Anderson, or a city that's affordable rather, and you decide to rent for $800 a month. Now this $800 a month is rent only, not utilities, nothing else included. So with that being said, your utilities are going to be, let's say all of your utilities: electric, water, trash, gas. Let's say your utilities are going to be about $250. So now you're up to $1,050 a month for rent. But just to make things simple on this video, we're going to round up to 1,100 bucks. So your housing expenses are going to be $1,100 a month, which is going to put you in that 33% threshold, roughly, of what your take-home income is going to most likely be. For those of you that take home a few $1,000, $3,000 or so a month. And they say for good financial practice, you shouldn't go much beyond 30% of your take-home income. So, with that being said, your rent is going to be around $800 or so a month, and then allow a couple $150 a month for utilities. Now I understand for those of you that live in the South, you don't have gas. You know all your your heat is also electric as well. But in the South, during this time of the year, your electric is going to be a little higher because your temperatures are going to be hotter. So with that being said, anyways, where you cut it, we're gonna allow 250 bucks a month for utilities, $800 a month for rent. Now let's say you wanted to purchase, and again, let's say you wanted to purchase on the lower end because you only make a few $1,000 a month. Well, here in Anderson, there's houses. Here in Anderson, if you wanted to purchase a house for, let's say, $100,000. Now bear in mind the average interest rate is around 7-ish%. It's around 7% or so. And off the top of my head, I can't figure how much 7% interest will look like on a $100,000 loan. I didn't do the math. But I would guess that when you calculate what your payment is going to be, just what your payment to the bank is going to be, just the loan itself, and then on top of that, you add property taxes, homeowners insurance, and if you put down less than 20% PMI insurance, plus money on top of that for repair and maintenance, because it's not a matter of if your home will need repairs, it's going to be a matter of when. And then it's going to be a matter of how much. So when you do that calculation, and this is just a number that I'm kind of making up off the top of my head, I would say if you're looking to purchase, your housing expenses per month are going to be, on the low end, I would say your housing expenses per month are going to be $2,000 by the time you add all that stuff. It might be a little under 200. It might be. Now, if you do your own repairs, you can probably get below that couple of $1,000s a month, or maybe at the lowest, many of you guys can get your monthly housing expenses to maybe, what let's say monthly housing expenses will be $1,500, and that's going to be on the super low end, super low end. So let's say your housing expenses on the low end would be 15. On the high end, we're looking at 2,000. We'll just say it like that. Now, and remind you, just bear in mind, the neighborhoods that you're going to find these houses in these price ranges are going to be nothing special. In fact, I got a 5-minute video that I'm getting ready to play for you guys real quick, which will give you guys a decent indication of what type of neighborhood you're going to most likely be residing in if you try to rent for $800 a month, slash keep your housing expenses below, well, let's say $1,500 a month. whether you're renting or you're purchasing. So I'm gonna play this 5 minute video. I want you guys to watch it. But if you don't want to watch that video, cool, whatever. Skip over 5 minutes, and then we'll be back right here with me at the park. So I'll see you after that 5 minute video. Alright folks, I hope you enjoyed the video. Now, some of you might think that video is a bit of an exaggeration, but it really isn't. What y'all saw is a neighborhood in West Anderson, one of the worst neighborhoods in West Anderson, a neighborhood that many people would tell you to not go into unless you had to. And just to add some context to that neighborhood, I mean, just the other day on Airborne Avenue and West 22nd, there were some people that were committing crimes involving weapons over there. I can't say what I want to say because of YouTube, so you guys are going to have to kind of read between the lines of what I'm really saying. I gotta talk that YouTube language here. So yeah, there was a crime committed on 22nd and Airway Avenue here in Anderson, Indiana, with the use of weapons. I'm gonna give you all a little view right quick. For those of you that are curious of what I'm talking about, go online, type up Anderson, Indiana, and the story will come up because they made it on the local news. So you guys saw that neighborhood. You saw the area for yourself. I just told you about the crime that happened in the area the other day. So what will I do? Which choice will I choose? Will I rent? Will I buy? Or would I become a full-time nomad if I were in a situation to where I did not own my house outright? If I were still in that situation, what would I do? I would become a full-time nomad. And that video that you guys just saw, that 5-minute video, is the reason why. Because to me, I mean, I understand being a nomad does come with its inconveniences. I get it. A lot of you would say that being a full-time nomad, I would not be safe. It's safer in the sticks and bricks than it is to be a nomad, is what many of you would say. Now, but when you compare being a full-time nomad to living in the hood here in Anderson, Indiana, the way things are anymore out here, with all the violent crimes going on out here, I would say that being a full-time nomad would be a lot safer. Now, would it be cheaper? Depending on how I go about being a full-time nomad, it could be cheaper. And it also could be a little bit more. It also could be a little bit more compared to renting. But for me, I would have to be a stone cold fool to purchase a house in that type of a neighborhood, the neighborhood that you saw on my little 5-minute video. And I used to live in that area. And I did own a house close to that area, which I do have on this channel. I made that video several months ago. But that was back when I was able to buy the house for $15,000. But given the cost of houses today here in Anderson, I would never pay $100,000+ to live in the hood. Never. I would never allocate over $1,000 of my hard-working money for housing to live somewhere in the hood, to where when I come home, someone, when I come home, someone might be liable to kick my door down and broke into my house. Or if I even go to a local gas station and get some gas, someone might be liable to carjack me. Or it might be 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And I get waking up because somebody might decide to commit home invasion. And I might be the unlucky person to be the victim. Or overnight, somebody might decide to mess with my vehicle. And then when I need my vehicle the next day to do whatever it is I gotta do, I can't do it because someone done messed with my vehicle to where it's not running. And then I gotta take out a claim through my insurance company. And then when I do that, my insurance company is gonna raise my rates. Y'all know how that works. You pay for insurance, so you're protected. But then when you need the protection, they jack your rates up the second that you take out a claim. So to me, I'd much rather be a full-time nomad. Like if my money was low and I didn't own my home outright, if I were still in that type of a situation as I used to be back in the day, I would choose being a full-time nomad. But what would you guys do? What would you guys do? I would love to hear from you guys in the comments of what you all would do. And when you comment, just bear in mind the situation. Just bear in mind the situation. Folks, I had to stop the recording because there's people driving by with playing their music loud. But yeah, so when you drop your comment below, just bear in mind the situation. You know, even if you're out here, you're successful, you're doing well for yourself, act like you're not. Act like you're in a situation to where your income is lower and your funds are limited. Put yourself in that scenario for the sake of this video. And then comment below what you would do. Would you rent? Would you purchase? Or would you become a full-time nomad? Here's some more views for you. And I'm going to give you guys some more views here before I shut you guys off. I want you guys to get some more views of the park here. Again, this is in Anderson, Indiana. Alright folks, that's going to do it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the different views. Drop your comment below. Stay blessed.